Well, it's Sunday the 14th, 69 degrees out. Let's see if we can do this bee inspection without the smoker, without the veil. Sometimes these gadgets are pretty cool. If you wonder why all the bees are bothering me, because I'm sitting right in front of their hive. But this is the one I want to look at. This has a glass box up here. Earlier, we took all the brood, put them down in this bottom box, gave them some space up here with the drawn comb that they can try and fill up and make some honey for. We put a couple frames of the brood up here, hopefully no queen up there because we shook them all out. So today we're going to check out, there's a queen cell on either side, and what we're going to do is see if those queen cells are still going, if they got lots of bees. What we'll do is we'll put in a screened, double screen divider board here. That way this colony will have its own way to go in and out this side, and that way they can raise those two queens and see who wins. And this colony will continue to grow, and maybe we'll get a hive out of it. It also has an eye wave up here that creates negative ions. It probably helps the bees out, keeps the air cleaner. Whether it does or not, it's another gadget I'm trying out. I like gadgets, but let's take a look. So this is an insulated 2-inch insulation upper cover. Tries to maintain some of their heat. I got this on here just because the cover gets wet underneath otherwise, and I'm seeing if that'll stop some of this mold and stuff on the cover. The eye wave, and these create negative ions. There's two different polarities. It creates the ions in the air and they fall down on top of this colony. And then there's a screen here that keeps them from zapping themselves on this, because if you feel it with your hands, it does create like a tingling effect to your fingers if you get it just right. So that's what the bees look like, and we have an empty space on this side, and so that they don't have to work every one of the frames that aren't used, because they're going to be a small group. So this insulation keeps the sun off of this box because it's glass. So this side, there's not a whole lot of activity. You can see the in between the frames. If you want to really get down in there, you can see some bees. On this side, you got a lot more activity. And over here is the queen cell. I believe it's this one. And on this side, we have the empty space. That way we can take a look and see where the queen cells are at. I believe it's on this corner here. The sun gives quite a bit of glare on the glass. And this is the front side. And you can see that the bees are pretty packed in there. And you can see the next frames down. They're the empty ones that the bees are getting activity on. And just for fun, I'm going to give them smoke and see if, with this eye wave, do we get some smoke up here. So for this test, I'm going to use my smoker. But before I do that, I'm going to put this eye wave back together. I'm going to plug it in. And put the cover back on. And now I'm going to smoke this colony and see if with the eye wave it has any effect on them. Smoking down there at the entrance. Going to lift the cover a little bit. Going to smoke them extra heavy. Now be aware this eye wave has not been cleaned for a while, so it's kind of gummed up. I don't know if it's really doing its job right now. Alright, so that cleared up pretty fast. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this eye wave and do the same test. See if it's anything different. I'm going to smoke them at the entrance. I'm going to smoke them in the top. Smoke them kind of heavy. I don't know, we'll have to do a test on this again sometime. I think it's still a little smoky. It's a little smoky to me. I'm going to plug the iWave back in and see if that clears up. I don't know. Is it my imagination or did it clear up better? Well, that was fun. Let's get in there and divide them up. So for this next trick, I am going to use my veil because I'm going to open them up this time. And I'm going to use this bottom board that I've kind of modified the design. Instead of just being a single screen, I've added a double screen on the bottom here. A little piece of wood to keep the two from touching each other. I've added a block in the front, and so that this matches up exactly with a box if I set it on top. And instead of having the slider in here that closes them off, I took that out, and I'm going to block the entrance in the back with a stick. That'll create a sealed chamber for the bottom box, and then the top box will have its entrance out here toward the front. So again, we're going to take the cover off the top. We're going to take the iWave off, not even going to bother unplugging it. We're going to remove this top box. Then we're going to insert this divider board. We're going to put this little block of wood on the side here. Get these bricks out of the way. That'll fit right here on top. Do an angle thing, try and see if we can squish any bees that way. So now the front of this divider has got a block of wood that keeps them from getting out the front on that bottom box. And on the back, it's got a block of wood to keep them from getting in and out through the back. So now we'll put our colony back on top that has the queen cells. Let's take a look and see how that queen cell's doing. I don't know, today it looks kind of dry. We might have just one queen cell. Let's take a look at the other side. Oh boy, I think that one's dry too. That means if they really want a queen up there, they're gonna have to make their own. Let's see if they still have eggs, I forget. That's pollen. That's old brood, new brood. Old brood. It's all empty. That's old brood. It's a bunch of drones that look, they all pretty much hatched out already. All these drones hatched out. They were hatching out yesterday. See that? Like this guy. Well, they might be hopelessly queenless up here. There's some older larvas up there. There's younger larvas. But I'm not seeing any eggs. I'll put the iWave back on. Put the sun shield back in place. Put on the vapor barrier. And the lid. Oh, and we can't forget the entrance reducer. Well, check back. We'll see what happens.